So your throat chakra deals with, it's located in your throat. So it's associated with communication, smoothing anxiety, and promoting dreams. So since you went through a traumatic experience, like, something like that can really put a block in you. And since it deals with your communication and everything, it can affect the way you communicate with people. And say you have, in order to be yourself, you have to express your truths. In order to reach your full potential, you have to be comfortable with being yourself no matter what you've been through and because believe it or not, everything happens for a reason. It might have, well, I don't want to put it like that because nothing like that should ever happen to a child. But sometimes, in order for you to grow and heal over past things, like past karma and past life traumas and everything, you have to go through it in this life. So, and since you want, everybody's goal is really to become their best self. Everybody's goal is to get connected back with Source, which is God. So that's the main goal, right? That's going for this period. So people's going to have trauma and things that they're dealing with from that they never dealt with, like in past lives. Because I told you, like, your soul is like the sun, it's like energy. Your soul is like energy. So wherever the sun goes, the light follows. Wherever your soul goes, the light follows. And we talked about there's no such thing as dark energy, really. It's really that pain causes negative energy. And it's like, it's just pain. And that pain causes you to act. From pain, you can get anger, you can get anxiety, stress. So all that accumulates to dark energy because it's stopping you from becoming your best self. And your best self is light, pure light, because the sun is pure. You know why most people connected God to the sun back in the day? Because the sun is pure light. The sun is always going to be here for us, like God is always going to be here for us. But whenever we wake up, the sun rises with us and washes over us. And at nighttime, it's the moon. The moon rises, and the moon has light too. So God can be the sun, God can be the moon, trees. When you wake up, trees are always here. But the only reason when trees disappear is when you cut that connection. That's when people go cut it down. And so you can cut that down by accumulating dark energy. Dark energy and pain can turn into a sword, and it can go, like, how they have tarot readings, like your Ace of Swords. So the pain, it can cause a sword. It can cut that connection because instead of being your pure self, which is God, you're operating from anger, pain, anxiety, because all those are not like, because you have like enlightened stage, like the enlightened, like you enlight. But if you're dark, you have like fear, and if you fear, what you do, you hide. So you're hiding your light from, so like that. So in order to remove the darkness, you have to speak about it. So that's where the third chakra comes in, because it deals with communication. And once you start speaking your truth and everything, you'll be able to release the pain because you hold it in. And when you hold something in, it stays there, it doesn't go. But when you speak, you let out words, right? So when you speak, you can let out your emotions. It's like journaling. Even though you're not journaling, it's a form, like, even though you're not talking, it's a form of communication, because it's like you're writing down and then you turn it in. You're getting it out. And so instead of holding in, so you don't have to talk to nobody about it, really, because nobody can save you from yourself but you, because nobody knows exactly what you're going through. Nobody has the same feelings you have but you. So in order for you to heal, you really have to go within and figure out, okay, where is this darkness coming from? And that's where shadow work comes from. They call it shadow work because you're going into the dark. You're going to the dark part.
I heard it's so crazy. I heard that before. And I heard it get, intense. Like, it's kind of scary. It can be, but
well, it can be scary.
Like you said, like past trauma, you basically like reliving it, kind of, to figure out like
how to
where it come from.
It's like, to be honest, once you really crying is a form of releasing. So you can't release nothing if you don't feel that same experience, because you just thinking about it. You can be like, okay, you can think about it, but you really have to feel it in order to release it. Because once you feel, because when it happened, you probably suppressed your feelings for it, because you would probably, like, you're in fear. When you're in fear, you hide, right? So you probably hid your emotions. So when you go right now, like, if you go sit down with yourself, you'll be by yourself. You won't have anybody around to judge you how you feel. So that's why you have to be alone. because you have to be able to be comfortable with yourself first before you're comfortable with anybody else. So once you learn how to heal by yourself, you can feel and you can cry, express your emotions without nobody judging you. So once you express those emotions, you feel it, that pain cancels out and you feel better about the situation because you released it, you let it go. And so it's just, that's like you letting it go, you letting the darkness out. I had met this guy when I was meditating at Moss Rock, and he came to me. He said I had this dream, and I was standing in the mirror, and at this time I was going through stuff, and I wanted to become better. I was working on trying to become better. So he had a dream. He went to the mirror. He saw himself as a different being, right? And then he walked outside into this giant owl, and he said, "What do I need to do to become my best self?" And he let a whole bunch of blackness out of his mouth. And he said, "I never understood that dream." And I told him that was his sign that in order to become your best self, you have to release. And you release and speaking your truth is the blackness, it's the darkness. So when you speak your truth in the darkness, that darkness turns into light because you're putting it into the light. You're taking it out of hiding and bringing it to the light, and you're dealing with it the way you need to deal with it and everything. So, yeah. So that's why it's always good, because your chakras play a big part, because those are like your many energies in it. It's like, you know how you have like substations, like your heart really is the green. So you know your heart chakra, that's representing green because that's the powerhouse. We're supposed to operate from our heart, because our feelings, we're supposed to like operate from our feelings. Like your intuition is like, go off your feelings, go off what you feel. Because if you go from your mind, it can be influenced by other people. Like your mind is a magnet.
Right, that's true.
Yeah, it pick up other people's thoughts. So if you go ask somebody else for their opinion and they tell you something, that your opinion is always gonna be somewhere in your mind. But you have to learn how to operate from your heart and learn how to be comfortable with yourself and learn how to feel what you feel and go by that feeling. And once you do that, everything you need to do will flow, because I told you, like the law of attraction, what you put out is what you get back. So whatever you put out is really coming from your heart. You can tell how what a person has in their heart by the way they act or by the way they react with stuff. And sometimes some people may think they're bad people out there, but they have pain in their heart. So you have to think about it. That pain is darkness. But once that person heals that pain and heals their trauma, they'll be able to be green. Green means go, right? So they'll be on go. They'll be good. Go is short for good. So yeah. So that's why it's green, because the heart is the powerhouse. The next one is your mind, because once you have a feeling, you have to think about it. So that's why it's always good to have a pure heart and a clear mind, so you can attract what you need. And then the crown chakra is like you know how when they have a halo, that's showing your connection with God, because the halo is light, right? So if you have light on top of your head, it's easy for light to connect with light. So it's just like, see, I'm in the light, so I'm getting energy in the divine, because I told you, like back in the day, they connected God with the light, because lightness is pureness, and God is saying that's pure. So if you're in the light, you got the pure energy coming down into you, and it's easy for you to connect with Source, connect with God. Then you got your root chakra, your sacral chakra.
Do we have like a third
third eye. So your third eye is, your third eye, not everybody is going to have be important to people, because some people, when you hiding in the darkness, like when you have that pain and negative energy attached to you, it's hard for you to open your third eye. Your third eye is really your spiritual eye. That's your eye, your eye. So you have your crown chakra, you can feel God. That's your feeling. You're feeling to God, but your third eye has to be open to see God. That's why that's why God said, in order to find me, you have to seek me. In order to seek somebody, you have to see them. So you have to open your eye. You have to take the time to open your third eye, your spiritual eye, to go find God.
I have a question on that. So you think when someone open up their third eye, do they look at the world different, like a different, everything just, I guess you're saying it's more clear, clear, it's just not looking at it the same, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so you know how they have heaven on earth. So when Adam and Eve were in the garden, they had their spiritual eyes open, they had their crown chakra, all their chakras was aligned.
Oh yeah, and they eyes closed, but they
No, like no, like all the chakras was aligned. Like they had their third eye was open. They was connected to God. They were speaking their truth, living their truth. They was living from their heart. They was rooted their root chakra and sacral chakra. So it wasn't until like the devil filled Eve lies, and lies can turn into darkness because a lie is a part of the darkness. Because when you're not living your true self, or you're not telling the truth, you're hiding from yourself, right? So when the devil came and told Eve lies, your mind is a magnet. So lies can be like insecurities, negative thoughts, and everything. Because the devil knows just how powerful you are before you know who you are. Because when Adam and Eve first got to the garden, they was just okay. It was just them. They had no experience, and they were comfortable with living with each other because they were made for each other, like soulmates. So they reflected each other. So they didn't have a problem seeing nothing wrong with each other because you like me, I'm like you, we're the same. So if you do something, I won't judge you because that's the way you do it. But when the devil came, they added a third person, right? That's somebody else's opinion. So somebody else's opinion started making Eve see lies and start judging herself and start living like she started wondering, okay, like this. So if your mind's a magnet, you're gonna start thinking about negative things. And those negative things turn into darkness. And darkness, you lose your light. If you lose your light, your eyes close. So it was hard for them to see. Their spiritual eyes closed. So that's when they realized they were naked. So that's when everything changed because their eyes closed. But once you open back your third eye, I'm not saying you'll walk around naked because now you have to wear clothes or you can go to jail. But yeah, so, but you see the world from love. Like you don't judge anybody. You say, okay, I see her. That's how she want to wear her hair. That's how she feel. She want to wear those clothes because that's her style. She want to do this and made that decision because that's her decision. She's following what she believes, even though it might not agree with you. It's gonna agree with her because it came to her mind and she felt it, so she's gonna do it. So it's just like you allow people to be themselves without judging them. You'll see, like, you can go, like, the sky looks so pretty right now. But if somebody's having a bad day, they'll be thinking about the darkness. They won't even take time to notice, like, the trees, the beauty in the trees, the beauty in the clouds. They'd be so worried about what else is going on in their life. Instead of taking time and being grateful for what you have now and appreciating the stuff you have in your life, if you don't see the greatness around you, you can't attract more greatness. So if your eyes are closed, you're just gonna see darkness. You're not gonna see the world for how it really is. So you're just gonna keep seeing like the news. The news put out fear. If you keep watching the news, yeah, they're gonna keep out putting fear, and fear is darkness. And you gonna and I told you everything travels by energy. So if they put fear and speaking, like people can speak, like the tongue is powerful. Tongue is very powerful. You can speak energy into people. So you can speak fear into people. You can speak enlightenment, knowledge into people. So the news, they mostly focus on the darkness that's going on in the world. And they do talk about some good, it's like a quick segment, but they spend more time on darkness than light. So that causes other people to be in the darkness too. So if you're in the darkness, you can't see. You're not going to see the goodness of the world. But once you open your spiritual eyes, you're in the light, it can take time to appreciate. And you see there's love all around us. Everybody is love. Because everybody comes from God. We're made in his image. So it's just like God is a living thing, right? So if you look at somebody, you will be able to appreciate every part of them without judging them. You'll see them from a happiness. You'll see like, oh, I love that person now. Even though they made that decision, I love them. But because people on their own path, on their journey, in order to find themselves, they have to do things on their own, make their own decisions. That's why God gave everybody free will. He didn't give your mama your will. He didn't give your daddy your will. Even though you're supposed to honor them, you have to, like, it's just, that's the way of just saying, like, treat them with respect. Treat them how you want to be treated. Sometimes your family are the main people you have to love from a distance because you're healing, right? Sometimes when people see you healing and becoming your true self, they're not used to you being that true self. They're not used to you being that light. That's why some people like, I'm the black goat, the black sheep of the family. That's because their family always seen them in the darkness as the blackness. But now they stepping into the lightness. They feel like, dang, they trying to say, okay, you doing something wrong with you. why you acting like this? You losing your mind, because in order to gain new knowledge, you have to lose everything you once learned. That's why people say you're losing your mind. But in order to gain new knowledge and the truth and be really directed and connected with God, you have to lose everything you once learned. So you really do have to lose your mind, because God's gonna bless you with everything you need to know, like the right stuff. Because what you learn, they calling you black sheep for a reason, because you coming at the darkness. You stepping into the light, because once the sheep take a bath, you notice it's white, it's pure white. That's why people, so once you take your bath, it's like God's gonna give you a bath. He gonna turn that darkness, that blackness, into whiteness. So you'll be a sheep, because that's why God moves the sheep. He has a herder. He has somebody with a herd, a shepherd. So you a sheep of God's army, because God has a herd. He has a herd of people. We are his people. We're not necessarily saying we're sheep, but we are God's people. We move as a tribe, and God is in everybody, but everybody doesn't realize that, because we have all these different opinions. You have that country over here. You got this country. They think something. They got different rules. But you got this country. You got different rules and everything. And once that, you create wars. But to be honest, there's no reason to have a war, because everybody's love. Everybody's light. Everybody comes from God. We just have to get rid of the opinions. And you know how you have middle class, lower class. There's no such thing as class. Everybody's the same. We're all one, because we come from the Creator. We come from God. But they use classes now. It's like basically, you know how they say black people were freed, right? But if you're still following somebody, if you're still following society rules, are you really free? You following somebody, so that means you have a leader. The only leader should be God. And who is God? God is in you. You should only follow yourself. So if you follow these politics, these leaders or whatever, they're going to tell you something that doesn't align with you. So that's why they have like high class, middle class. But they got the high class people, like the people that make all the money in the world, right? People that ain't got to worry about nothing. Then you got the middle class. They make some money, but they still got to worry about some stuff. Then you have low class. So like minimum people, how they raise minimum wage, but they just raise prices. To be honest, we're still getting underpaid. So just like, back in the day they had slavery, they would give the slaves very much. It's like modern day slavery. People think this is the land of the free, but it's just really the land of the free. Because if this is the land of the free, everybody will be happy. Everybody have what they want. Everybody will be living their dreams. Everybody will be equal, because we're free. We're all free. But it's like the united. It's like the united. Everybody's united in their own separate group. If we were really united, it would be the United States. So it's like the United States. Why can't it just be a united America? Why we have to be in different states? Because everybody has different opinion. They're really trying to separate us. And that's why they got like these abortion laws, because they know it's going to cause chaos. And all these laws are meant to cause chaos. But to be honest, if everybody had everything they need, would there really be a problem to cause a law? Because the reason why somebody's like robbing, because they don't have it. If you provided people with food, provided people with the stuff they needed, they won't have to go out there and rob and go get it. Most times when people kill somebody, it's based off jealousy or envy, because this person has something they don't have, or that person got an opportunity and they got jealous. So, but if you gave everybody this equal and the same opportunity, you think we really kill somebody because they got something? And you're like, okay, you got something, but guess what? I'm being myself. I can go buy something that make me just as happy, or I can go get something instead of buying something, because God put us here to enjoy. This is supposed to be heaven, really. This is really supposed to be heaven. It's like heaven on earth. God put us here to enjoy. This is where we come down, because we're all angels. We're all people of God. We all come down here to enjoy being in a physical body, because wherever your soul goes, this is just like a vessel. So we all have to have an experience. Like, we all wanted to have this experience. That's why God created us, because we all wanted to have the experience to come down to earth and live and see how it feel to be like in the body, because we used to being light. Because when God said let there be light, that was us. But it took stages to create. He just didn't create. He created the earth in stages. He said let there be light. Then once there was light, it was water and land and animals. He created all that stuff to make us happy. He created the earth for we can be able to enjoy it as humans and everything. So when he did that, and we started adding all these things, different things. Like, you got to pay for this, pay for that. It causes problems because this is supposed to be our heaven. This is supposed to be our paradise. But in order for us to do this, we have to make this amount of money. In reality, it should be given to us because everything down here belongs to us because God made it. Because God gave us dominion over it. He didn't. When God created Adam and Eve, He didn't just create two people. He created humanity because everybody's one. So everybody's the same, and we all deserve the same things. It's just when they add these laws, these money classes, everything, that's what separates us. Because money is the root of all evil, really.
It is.
So if you add money to a thing, you got to have money to have light. There's no reason that somebody should be living in the dark because you know you can't see. So why would you charge somebody to live light? Water. You know it rains. It rains. We have an ocean out there. So God, even though we can't drink the ocean water, we really can if we purify it. We really can drink the ocean water. You really can drink it. And then it rains. Even though we can't drink we can. I'm sorry I said that. It rains. So even if we ran out of water in the ocean, which we never will because it's unlimited, He will still send us rain from heaven. Because when some people have to go out in the rain and say, "Oh, the rain feels so good," that's God showering us with blessings. But we just have to, because everything carries energy. The rain carries heavenly energy because He's opening up the floodgates from heaven. So He's showering us down. That's His love. Rain is His love showering down on us. Yeah, that's what it's rain. That's God sharing His love. He's showing us, okay, because you need water to survive. And we need God's love to survive. So and who's God? Is you. God is in you, so you need you. That's why it's self-love. You need God and that connection, because if you don't love yourself, you don't love nobody. And if you don't know who you really are, you don't know that God is in you, and God's always going to follow you. So if you don't love yourself, you can't love nobody. But they don't teach you this because once you figure out who you are, you become powerful. You know, you can't breaking the matrix or whatever. So, yeah.
You can't let nobody influence you on anything. You know who you is. Like, excuse me. You know who you is, and nobody's opinions or nothing matter. Okay. Nobody can basically tell you anything, really.
Yeah. So that's why you have to learn how to follow yourself, because intuition, that's your divine. That's your connection. Your intuition is connected to your third eye and your chakra. Your intuition is like telling you what to do. That's God telling you. That's God's voice in your head. Hey, I think you should do this. If you have an idea and it's something that can benefit you and it's positive, go ahead and do it. Like, don't second guess yourself, because God giving you that feeling for a reason, because God knows everything. God knows to help you. But once you start feeling fear, the darkness, that's the devil talking. Like, don't do this because it can go bad. No, because the devil knows, like, if you do this, you're gonna be one step closer to God. You're gonna be one step closer in the light.